I'm Dawna Hetzler.
And I'm Sally Smith.
We, just like you, are bravely walking through the dark valleys of life in hopes of scaling joyful summits.
We believe that safe and trusted women are a force to be reckoned with. When we climb together, we can reach the mountaintop.
Many of our challenges come from feeling as if we are stuck while trying to ascend, hiding in crevices, waiting for storms to pass.
Might we suggest that you have a more proactive role in reaching the peaks of your own life?
Let's laugh at the untruths we were taught, from the common religious myths to the lies we believe about our situations and about ourselves.
It is our hope that our time together brings you solace from life's daily drudgery and a bit of lighthearted laughter.
This is a safe place where you are welcome, right where you are, even in your questions and doubts. So rise up, sister. It's time to conquer together.
And we certainly hope you'll say,
"Now that's funny."
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of That's Funny. With your host, Dawna Hetzler and Sally Smith.
Yay, we're back together.
We're back. Guess who's back?
We're back
Guess
together.
who's back? Yeah, I'm so excited. I missed you so much.
Oh, I've missed you. So good to be back in studio together.
I know. Well, welcome, everyone. As you can tell, we're super excited to be back in studio. We've loved doing the Zoom, and we've heard some great things from the Zoom as well, but there's nothing like being in person.
That's right.
Then we won't be delayed.
We won't be delayed.
And I'm so excited we have a new topic.
All right.
I know.
This
Are you
is
ready?
a good topic. Yeah, you gonna announce it?
I'm going to announce it. The new topic is God helps those that help themselves.
Now that's funny.
You know, we hear this phrase a lot. I've heard this phrase a lot, but it's not in the Bible.
It's not?
No, it doesn't say it anywhere in the Bible. I know it's quite misleading from what Scripture actually says.
Yes.
I know. It does not teach, and God does not teach, that God only helps the self-sufficient or the strong. It's quite the opposite.
Okay.
I know. So do you want to read?
Yes, there's some scriptures about that.
Yes, there's some scriptures. Yes.
So Romans 5:6 talks about God helps the helpless. And then in Isaiah 25:4, there's, for you have been a refuge for the poor. So he's a refuge for the poor, a refuge for the needy in distress, shelter from the storm, shade from the heat, for the blast from the ruthless, and a storm that could destroy a wall. So he sounds very powerful and like he sweeps in and takes over for whoever it is, whether you're in distress or poor or needy or finding yourself in a storm, wherever you're at in life, God swoops in and rescues us.
That's just amazing. You know, as we were coming up with this topic, thinking about this topic, I've heard it so many times. Well, God helps those who help themselves. And so I think in my mind, for me, it was like, well, I have to do.
Yes.
Because if I don't do, then God's not going to help me.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean that we just sit back and do nothing.
Okay.
Right?
So we can't be on easy street.
We can't just be like, yeah.
God's
whatever,
gonna help,
yeah,
whatever.
It's all cool, man. Totally. Scripture doesn't encourage personal responsibility. So we do have to have some personal responsibility. You know, God calls us to work, but he calls us to never work alone.
Oh, I like that.
I think that's the important thing
God
there.
calls us to work, but we never work alone.
Exactly. He supplies us with strength, wisdom, opportunity.
Okay.
He saves not those who help themselves, but those who admit they can't save themselves and cry out to him.
You always have such wisdom.
Oh, Yoda has wisdom today. Did I say that right? That's not how Yoda talks.
That was not Yoda.
So we have to cry out to him.
Right.
We have to cry out to him. That's how he helps us.
Right. So there is our part in that.
Yeah.
I just remember being a child and my mom would use this all the time. like get it together or do this, do that, because God helps those who help themselves. And so I think that's part of the reason why I'm such a doer. It's like, I've got to do my part. I've got to do my part. But it was always, to me, it was scriptural.
Right.
Like, oh, well, if Mom's saying it, it must be in the Bible, right?
Right. But there is nowhere in the Bible that says this. Promise me, I looked.
Did you look? Hold on, let me double check. Let me check everything here. I couldn't find it as well in here. But, we have a propensity to think that way, to think that it's in the Bible and it's been quoted so many times. I think it goes back, I'm pretty confident that it goes back to the Greek and some Greek philosopher, and then it was quoted by Benjamin Franklin.
Yes,
yeah.
I read that too.
You
It was
did.
quoted originally by Benjamin Franklin.
Yes.
But nowhere does it
Say in the
scripturally
Bible.
sound.
So
right.
get up and help yourself, and then God will swoop in. No, it says God swoops in while you're in distress, while you're crying out. But I love how you said, can you say that again?
What did I say? It doesn't mean we sit back and do nothing.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
It encourages us to have personal responsibility as well.
Okay.
Is that what you were?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then that part on he saves not those who help themselves.
But those who cry out to him.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we do have our part, but it's not, I'm trying to pull that, like dissect that a little bit. So we do have our part, but he also swoops in. So there's that tension there.
Right.
And how do we reconcile that? It's like this has been one of my biggest struggles in spiritual direction is, okay, I hear what you're saying, but what do I need to do and how much does God do? So that's been my biggest struggle over the last couple of years is I'm a doer. So I'm just kind of like, God, tell me what to do and I'll do it. I'm your girl. Just give me the instructions. But it doesn't always work that way.
I know.
So do you find yourself in that?
I do. I find myself in that. And I think
Yeah.
it kind of ties into what we just wrapped up with Fear Not. I think it
Yeah.
all kind of ties in together. So, like one of the questions from Fear Not was, how do I be fearless but not reckless?
Oh, that's right.
You
That was
know,
such a good question.
And I kind of think this all kind of intertwines,
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm helping myself, how much do I help myself where I'm not enabling myself? How much do I help myself where I'm not being reckless? How much? So, I mean,
Isn't that interesting how every topic has intertwined
Right.
with one another.
Right.
And I think that's why we linger on those topics
know.
because they do interweave. So
Well, and then I think we also linger because then so many people have so much more input on it. And it's like,
yes.
oh, yes, we need to dive deeper. We need to dive
yes,
deeper.
or we get more questions
Right.
and we're like, oh gosh,
No more
you're
questions.
stretching us. You are really stretching us here. And then the practices really stretch us too.
Right.
Yeah, that's been my biggest hurdle. And what I have found so far in the journey is that it depends. So the answer is it depends because your part is never the same on different circumstances.
Exactly. And it's
know.
that gray area.
It's
like
that
we talked
gray
about.
again.
It's
Yes, I was just having a conversation with somebody and they said, the Bible is so black and white. And I was like, is the Bible black and white or is the Bible gray? And our thinking is very black and white.
Yes.
Now there's some non-negotiables, obviously, that are laid out in the Bible, but how you get to those non-negotiables, I think is pretty gray.
Yeah, me too.
I think God gives us this space to kind of walk our own journeys, to figure it out on our own. And if we're trying to force feed somebody, like how we see our view in life, on one person and they're going in a different direction or need to figure that out, God gives us the grace. It's like I said, the boundary lines have fallen in pleasant
Right.
places. It's not
Right.
straight. It's like back up this way.
Well, and you and I could read the same scripture and interpret it differently.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it's right or wrong.
Yeah,
There's that middle area.
right.
Where,
It meets you where you're at in the moment.
exactly.
Or I could have an aha moment,
Right.
about, and you're like, I don't see that
I don't-
right now in that scripture at all. But that's just our ideas. So please, put in the comments about that.
Right.
But I think the biggest thing with this topic, with God helps those that help themselves, is really dissecting. And maybe that'll be our practice this week
Oh.
on Did you have a better practice?
No, I love our practice.
I love surprising her. It's so much fun. I was going to give something else, but fine.
Oh, dear.
So I think that should be our practice, unless you've got something else, and we'll lead with you, Wisdom Yoda.
I love it.
Okay. So just really pulling apart and dissecting, okay, in my particular situation, what is my part to do? And that answer could be nothing at all.
Right.
God could just say rest. We were just talking about this on the break, right?
Right.
God says, don't do another thing, lay on your couch for the next 12 hours and call it good. So your part could be let God fight the battle. Let God swoop in and just rest. It could be, God's calling you to go do something. And I also think, this could be a whole nother topic. Maybe I shouldn't.
Here we go again.
I know, right? She's like, again, here she goes. All right, I'll go down that path on the next episode.
Don't go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, because there's so much we could pull apart just from what's my part and what's God's part, because we've seen that there is no scripture that says this. God helps those that help themselves. It's actually a very gray area.
Yes.
And depending on your circumstance, he might have you do a whole bunch. He might have you do very little. I think the point that we are talking about is being in relationship with God and abiding in him, and he will show you the way. He will show you which way to go. So
I love that. I'm going to practice that this week. That's
Abiding
going to be a great practice for me this week.
Yes. And I'm going to say, tell me to do nothing, because I'm a doer and I just want to do stuff. So I'm going to try that. We'll see how it goes. I don't know.
Well, that's so great. I just love this new topic.
Yes.
And since it's a new topic and a new month, we have a giveaway.
Oh, we are?
We are.
You surprised me.
Woo, woo,
Are we supposed to give away?
We're supposed to give away. We have a book free to receive, and we have this for Adam.
Oh, Adam.
Adam, thank you so much for listening.
Yes, and commenting all the time.
Yes.
He is a great
He is. He's
follower.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
So I will make sure that Adam gets this book. Thank you, Adam.
Yes, thank you.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this up. And in the meantime, I don't even know what to call this silly little lie topic, whatever it is, because I don't like it. But in the meantime, don't believe this silly little myth that God helps those that help themselves.
Now that's funny!
From the heavens high above, I feel the touch of his laughter and love. In every moment, tear and smile, God's humor is heard, every step, every mile. Keep walking, dear sister, you've got this.